Okay, so for this video and this exercise, we are starting with rotation. So this goal of the rotation is to add tension to our rotation. Prior to what we were doing before, just more so casually, just trying to get our joints focused with how our joints move and how our joints function, and also using it as an assessment. Now we're going to add some tension and some force into the rotation. So this is more so moving into the strength component. So when we do our rotation, I'm going to have you externally rotate the shoulder. So external rotation is basically just externally rotating the shoulders to the outside. So we have external rotation, internal rotation. So moving it out is X, moving it in, internal. So what I'm going to have you do, you can make a fist or you can open palm. So all I'm going to have you do is rotate to the outside, try to get the elbow, the inside elbow to the outside, the bicep to the outside, and generate tension. So what we're doing here is we're adding the strength component to the shoulder rotation. And it's gonna be a lot more crisp, a lot more tight, and basically to strengthen the shoulder. So, and we're using rotation to do that. So what we're doing is we're rotating and we're creating an isometric contraction, which is a strong hold. We're not going at 100%. We're not going at 10, 20. We're at about 30%. It's about a moderate tension. And we're going to keep that tension throughout the rotation. So I'm going to start to generate, it's like an engine, right? You start the engine, you're creating tension, squeezing throughout the arm, and then I'm going to sweep across the body because you're trying to get every corner of the shoulder. And then we're going to come up. As we come up, we're fighting against the rotation, right? What you're gonna feel is the shoulder wants to unravel, fight against it until you can no longer. So once we hit flexion, it's gonna want to unravel. As we unravel here, we're still generating tension. So it's like we're doing a torque movement into internal rotation and trying to cover enough space or enough, create a bigger circle into extension, okay? So one more time, we're turning, trying to get the elbow to the outside, bring it to the midline. As we come into flexion, and remember we're at a moderate tension, we're holding that tension as we unravel. And as we unravel, we're unraveling into internal rotation, and then repeating, okay? So that's what we're doing. We're keeping it tight, and we're really trying to drive force into the movement. Second, for extension, I want you to try to bring the shoulder down into the armpit, okay? And the goal here is we're really trying to drive tension down into the armpit. And as you keep tension, I want you to extend, okay? As you extend, it's going to be very, very tight. And the goal here is to fight against your anatomy, okay? Try not to lean. If you have to lean, I get it, but the goal really is to not overcompensate to achieve more, okay? So you're fighting, you're creating tension. Once you get to extension and you can no longer extend anymore, keep that same tension and unravel. Unravel into the movement, fight it, don't fight through pain, go around it. And then land back to where we started, okay? So again, you're putting the shoulder into the armpit, you're squeezing, and what you'll feel is you'll feel some activation in the back where your scapula is and all those muscles there. So once you feel that, and you may have to do it multiple times just to get those muscles familiar or get those muscles firing. So you're gonna press down, and it's gonna feel it should feel very tight. And you're gonna fight into extension. Once you no longer hit extension or can no longer achieve more range of motion, then we start to progress into the rotation, up into flexion, back to neutral. Okay, so that's the progression for going from just passively and casually rotating, right? We're going a passive casual rotation to 10% effort, 10 to 20%, and now we're going gradually into moderate 40% rotation and force. So that's the progression that we're going into for the strength component of the rotation.